the tears in my eyes.
The cream of the crop. Acknowledge me.
Here we are, Saturday morning, the brand new time slot. It is Top Rope Nation. I got the coffee in the Top Rope Nation mug. I'm here with the boys to talk a little pro wrestling with you. So grab a cup of coffee yourself and join us. Jesse Velasquez, how you doing this morning?
Really well. I apologize for my background noise as I have a almost 4-year-old about 20 feet away from me, and he is enamored with his planets right now. So other than that, life is good.
Yes, nice. Justin, how you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm dealing with an active household too, so this is going to be a whole new enterprise for us with these weekend mornings.
That's right. So if we're going to stay in this time slot, let's get active in the chat, you guys. Show us that this is... We had the poll in the Facebook group, and everyone said weekend morning, that's the best time for the live viewership. So hopefully you're out there joining us, whether you are across the pond or here in the United States. We're going to talk WWE, AEW, everything in between. We've got a lot on the agenda. I've got a 11 o'clock Central hard out here, you guys, because 2 of my kids are at a dance camp right now. Imagine that. And I have to go to a little performance that they're doing with the local college. So I'll be jumping off at 11. So we got a lot to get to here. I think we're going to talk WWE at the start, since that's what I teased here on the thumbnail for everyone joining us live on YouTube. And of course, we appreciate you if you're out there on the podcast feed as well. Make sure to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating. If you're here live right now, please hit that like button. It helps us out a lot. Send the link to a friend. Let's get this show going this morning. Cody Rhodes and John Cena had a face-to-face promo Monday night on Raw. And I think the general consensus coming away from Monday Night Raw was that they kind of switched gears a little bit and maybe saved the build towards WrestleMania, got people a little more invested than they had been previously. Last week on our show, I went pretty hard on the storyline and how lackluster it had been. So I will give my take here momentarily. I don't have any rants ready this week, by the way. I will just tell you that right from the start. Now, maybe I'll get motivated halfway through. I don't know. I'm a little more calm this morning with my coffee, but we'll see what happens. Jesse, I'm going to throw it to you first. What did you think of this, of the Cena back and forth with Cody, and did they save creative going into WrestleMania for you?
Save it entirely? No. Yeah. I got to see it live because I was preparing for going live with Brian Zillum on his PW Torch podcast. So it perked my ears. It opened up my eyes a bit. It was nice. But now I'm starting to see a pattern with World Wrestling Entertainment that they're almost going AEW 2020, 2021, 2022 and incorporating a lot of shoot terms, really digging into kind of personal stuff and just kind of really going through the story and the journey of the specific performers, but using insider terms. So it's really interesting to me that they're swinging that way. Cena hit some nerves. They both hit some nerves. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was highly entertaining at 2:15 in the afternoon on a Monday. So that part was kind of nice to see. I sent you guys a text right away saying, I think you'll enjoy this one. But did it save face? No, because there's still no Dwayne Johnson. They finally mentioned him by name here. And then I think I'm going to let Justin attack this a little bit because I'm very curious to hear what he thought of Cena's comments towards Cody Rhodes and just kind of his journey and his neck tattoo.
Go ahead, Justin.
It was a lot better than all their previous stuff. I do feel like it was at least a form of a course correction. Kind of coming off of Jesse's point, I'm so kind of tired of all the insidery stuff, like where it's basically, it has nothing to do about, the match at WrestleMania. It's all the stuff the smarks would want to hear about. And that kind of that loses me a little bit. It kind of, for me, it takes some of the heat away. But for the most part, I thought it was pretty good. I do think Cody probably won this one. I really liked his insinuation that Cena's run on top, in the kind of the mid 2000s, late 2000s, is what heated up the independent circuit, which made it viable for Cody to leave and really reshape himself there. I thought that was really good. I find it fucking hilarious that it seems like everything WWE is doing, all the big programs, is referencing AEW. They did it again in this program. CM Punk did it. I mean, it's really quite sad. And I guess just the last thing, this really has nothing to do with anything, but like, I'm not really big or keen on watching WWE right now. So like, I just fired up YouTube to watch the Cena and Cody promo. And then I also, just in case we were going to talk about SmackDown, I fired up. They have like an 11-minute video of highlights for that show on their YouTube channel.
Mhm.
At least 5 commercial breaks during an 11-minute highlight video of what happened on SmackDown. At least 5. There might have even been 6.
Oh my God.
I almost put it off. I was so irritated.
So
I
this
mean,
that was
per-
on YouTube, you said?
yeah.
Wow.
Perfect summation of the current WWE.
They must get some special privileges because they would not let me put in 8 ad breaks. That is insane. That is, wow, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely the best thing that they have done so far. I'm not going to say like I'm super hyped to watch the match at WrestleMania right now, but I'm more interested in it than I was before. They finally made it more personal between these two guys rather than just Cena attacking the fans and how bad the fans are, like, he's been doing, and how they have wronged him. The stuff I ranted on last week, that it was all about the fans and nothing about Cody and nothing about Rock. We still don't really know about Rock. And, hopefully we'll get an appearance by him before WrestleMania. It was interesting in that it felt like Cena got the fans behind him, that first half of the promo, because everything Cena was doing was so good that the fans started cheering him, which was obviously not the response that you want. But then at the end, Cody got him back. And, at that point in time, I think he was getting the majority of the cheers. So, yeah, I like the callbacks to their history. Cena calling Rhodes a chauffeur, like back in the day. That was kind of funny. They leaned into all of the stuff about Cena and the golden shovel and burying everybody. He had some good lines on that. I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. I think he said something like, "I only buried mediocrity."
Yep.
Or something like that.
He's right. Austin Theory's nowhere to be found with a searchlight. Everybody else, for the most part, is kind of floating above water or at the top there.
Yeah. I mean, they reference Vince in this promo. I thought I like him bashing the neck tattoo. I still have no idea what Cody Rhodes was thinking getting that. That was a good line. But yeah, you're right. AEW. What did Cena say? I make empires for billionaires. And you
just steal billionaires from their kids or something like that.
That's right.
You steal the money from their kids.
That's right. So, it was a good back and forth, certainly. I'm still waiting to see why he joined The Rock. That's still unanswered, but I'm definitely more happy with it. This is clearly the main event program. Like we got Punk on SmackDown last night. Again, he's so happy about being in Chicago for the 57th time since he came back to WWE. I actually looked this up. I think this is the 4th time he's been in the Allstate Arena since he returned at Survivor Series there, including a house show, multiple SmackDowns, I think a Raw that's been there. I was talking with Ryan Huffman this morning about this, and like every time he comes out and he's so happy to be back. We've done this. We've done this a bunch of times now. Yeah, we get it. And it's his dream. He's main event. It's exactly what Punk joked about, when he was in AEW, the multiple night WrestleMania. I'm imagining it really the main event.
Get one.
It's clearly Cena and Cody is the headline match. I mean, when I think about a WrestleMania and what's the main event, it's what you're going to be putting on that poster. And Cena Cody is the premier match on this is the real main event of the weekend.
Yep.
And, it felt like it coming out of that promo. I have to give him credit to that. It felt like a big deal. And like I said, I'm more interested in it now than I was prior to the promo. So I don't really have any rants other than, when I was watching it at the beginning, it's like, oh no, fans are going to be behind Cena, not Cody. And that might still happen in Vegas. But as of right now, Cody won him back over. So I have to give him props for that.
I do like, I thought it was really good, Cody pointing out, that the fans actually chose him, whereas, that was the Vince McMahon line.
Yeah.
Although it is a little silly because, when Cena first became champ, the fans were behind him too. It didn't really turn for a year later. But what did you guys think of the favor reveal? Because holy moly, was that all caps underwhelming.
Hey, at least Paul Heyman got the tears going.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, it's so lame. Like, so we're supposed to just think that Paul Heyman's going to have that big of an effect on the match, or it's that much of playing head games with Roman Reigns that, he could lose the match because Paul's going to be in Punk's corner. And also, I think it puts a giant spotlight on the fact that this should just be a one-on-one match. What the hell is Seth Rollins even doing there? I hated it. I thought that was really lame.
Yeah.
Roman's response told it all. He, with his cackle, he's like, that is your favor? He spoke for millions of us out there, but then he even went into it. He's like, well, Paul, come on, go ahead, shoot him down. Tell him you're not doing this. And Paul with his acting was intriguing. So there, I think he was fine for the segment, but back to CM Punk, by the way. So he's been involved in wrestling for 3.5 years since he came back. And how many times has he been to Chicago total? You count AEW? That's probably 11 or 12.
Yeah, like 4 times just in WWE, I think was the number. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely bananas. And again, Seth Rollins just looks like a really odd banana out there. Just wait, what is he? Yeah, exactly.
The definition of a third wheel.
Just like he was in the Las Vegas conference last year with Dwayne and Cody and Roman. Seth's just stuck out like a sore thumb. It's like, oh, I'm just happy to be here riding your coattails. It's pretty much what it looks like to me. I think what this is going to be setting up potentially is Heyman turning on Roman. Punk becoming a heel, which is what we would all like to see in the WWE.
Yeah, no, I hope so. We'll go more into this in a second, but we got an active chat room, so I want to feature some of these comments in here. We got John Hope checking in from the UK. Always good to see John here. Noah checking in. He says, first time catching the show live. Absolutely. It is a pay-per-view weekend for the sickos. We'll give our picks here. I'm looking forward to Sunday night. I wish it was tonight. But Sunday night pay-per-view from AEW. John's looking forward to it. Oh, Niall Clark just finished watching WrestleMania 12 for Classics. Yes, if you're not a patron, you guys, we will be reviewing WrestleMania 12 on the Top Rope Nation Classics side of things behind the paywall next week for our patrons. 60-some editions of Classics we have now. This has been one that people have been wanting for a while, and we're finally getting to it. Justin and I especially have talked about in the past how the Iron Man match really brought us back into pro wrestling during that period of our fandom. And so we will be covering that next week, probably midweek, talking WrestleMania 12 on TRN Classics. So if you want to sign up and hear that, you get the video feed, you get the podcast after the fact, all the bonus shows, almost 200 of them. You can get a 7-day free trial. The link is here in the video and podcast description. Would love to have your support. We set a goal, by the way, on the podcast last week. If we get to 50 patrons, Justin's going to launch a brand new podcast, a solo show from Justin, Meet the Nation, over on the Patreon side of things. So I think we're at 41 now. So I think we got 9 people to go to get that one launched, Justin. So soon you'll have to start getting some notes ready, hopefully.
Oh God, homework.
Justin hosting a show is more than enough incentive for everyone out there to spend $5 a month. That's all I'm going to say, because I think we're all sick and tired of hearing my voice on the Patreon side of things. I've been doing stuff weekly, and Ryan steers the ship. So, Justin, we need a fresh face in there hosting a show. I'm looking forward to hearing it and meeting the rest of our nation.
Yeah, I want to interview some of our UK friends because I've been deep diving on the mid 90s Britpop explosion, and I need to find out where they line up on the Blur versus Oasis war, which I did not know about until recently.
You been listening to that podcast you sent me?
Oh yeah, yep,
Yeah.
nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the Patreon bonus show, so since we're in this new time slot on the weekends, and since AEW is having this show on a Sunday night, which is not going to be possible for us to do a Monday morning review of Dynasty, I will have for patrons an instant reaction Top Rope Nation extra that will go up late Sunday night for patrons. So if you want that instant reaction, at least for me, I'll have that up soon after the show Sunday night. So if you're on the Patreon side, you will get that. I'm sure Jesse will probably have something with Unplugged Talking Dynasty early next week also. And then we'll probably hit on it as a group next weekend. But again, if you want the instant stuff, you'll have to be on the Patreon side just based on how we're scheduling the podcast now. That's just the way it's going to work out. Now, when they have the Saturday night pay-per-views, of course, we'll do the flagship Sunday mornings, and that works out perfectly. So,
like Huffman coming in with the heater.
Jesus. This is a reference to CM Punk. Ryan Huffman, just don't look at the Beatles invasion. Apparently, an expert discussed that this week. Yeah, CM Punk, not a fan of the Beatles, finds them very overrated, he said. Just another reason Justin loves them.
Further down, there's should something be on the line in the triple threats? Like, I don't know what could be on the line. I mean, it's gonna come down for the interest, because it doesn't really matter who wins, right? You don't have that feeling going into the match. Like, it doesn't really matter what the outcome is. It's going to be about the swerve,
Yeah.
Who's going to turn on who.
I assumed they'd make it a number one contender match. Maybe they just assume that people are going to think that, since Punk referenced in the promo, was it last week, that, he's I think it was on Raw last week where he said, this is all just another kind of like barrier between him and what he really wants, being the world title. So I think the winner will go on to challenge for the world title, but that's inferring it. I wish they would just flat out come out and tell you, hey, this is for a shot at, the winner of Cody and Cena or something. But yeah,
something that you pitched last summer, Ryan. AEW listened to you. Now WWE should do the same.
Right. Make number one contender matches on pay-per-views. It's nice to have. There's no reason to not do it. Just add stakes, makes the matches bigger. So I really hope that they do that. But yeah, man, I love seeing this chat room so active. This is good stuff. I can't even keep up. On that note, Niall says, Punk was so wrong about the Beatles. They are the greatest band of all time.
Agree.
Definitely up there. I don't want to get in a music debate. They're in the top 5 for sure. Top 5 for sure. I definitely don't think the Beatles are overrated. They're one of my favorite bands of all time too. I could see like making the argument for some other bands too, but to say they're overrated and manufactured like Punk did is ridiculous. That is a horrid musical take.
Yeah, you'd really have to do some research, go through all of your eras to figure out and claim who the greatest band of all time was.
Yeah. All right. Ooh. This is a good point from Peter. He's a longtime supporter on Patreon. I want to address this. So he says, your thoughts on that Tiffy Charlotte segment. This was on SmackDown last night. A lot of discussion about how they went off script because WWE Digital edited it after the fact. There was a lot of personal jabs. And it seemed like if you watch really closely, it maybe seemed like both of them kind of got off their game a little bit once the personal shot started. I did see before SmackDown went on the air, according to Fightful, there was no producer listed for that segment, which is unusual for a promo segment. Usually there's a producer. I guess if they're going to get physical, they always have a producer, but a lot of times just to kind of guide what they're going to be doing. Now, I know it would have been scripted, but it seemed like Charlotte maybe got a little rattled by the crowd, or because she started mocking the way Tiffany was talking, and at that point I think that's where they went off script. And the way that Tiffy ended by talking about at the end of WrestleMania she's going to be all by herself, and just like her personal life where she's 0-3, and then she dropped the mic and like immediately left the ring so that Charlotte couldn't respond, and then Charlotte got on the mic and was like, oh, Ludwig's in my DMs or whatever she said. It's hard to say in pro wrestling today if that was actually scripted, but I mean, I watched that ending segment, a portion of it, a couple of times, and it felt to me like maybe something was off there. I think they did go off script a little bit. Jesse, your take?
The whole thing was cringy. So I actually woke up at 11:20 last night. I fell asleep alongside my son for a moment and watched probably half a SmackDown with one eye open. And kind of perked up when I heard this segment. It was super cringy. They both seemed completely off. They both also pretty much had the same wardrobe on to me, which was
Yes.
crazy. The same kind of lace bottom.
Yes.
Who
Yep.
coordinated that? You don't want that. Yeah, Charlotte was super getting rattled by the crowd. They were interrupting her each time. It was almost like a Dominic Mysterio promo, and she couldn't handle it. And Tiffany with her high pitch, which Charlotte, of course, brought kind of to light, just kind of makes her seem a little annoying in my book. But yeah, going for the personal jabs, like we mentioned in the very beginning, is not a good look whatsoever. You got to keep it in storyline.
Yeah. Did you see this, Justin?
There was like 10 seconds of it on that highlight thing. And just in that 10 seconds, it was super awkward. And I just have zero interest in that match.
Yeah. And WWE produced, I'm guessing they didn't show the controversial stuff, but no, I do think they did. It seemed to me like they went off script. I mean, I haven't had that confirmed or anything, but it just seemed, yeah, like you said, Charlotte was a little rattled, and it seemed like Tiffy kind of, what's the term I'm looking for? Like she was kind of trying to think of something to throw her way there at the end, and then it was like she dropped the bomb and she was out. And yeah, Charlotte looked rattled even afterwards too. So was that selling, or was that real? I think there was elements of reality there. It was, I don't know why you would script her to talk about Tiffy's voice and then the way she was like imitating her. Super cringeworthy stuff. That seemed out of nowhere. So I doubt that was part of the script.
2 weeks earlier, Charlotte rattled Tiffany's cages in a promo as well, kind of a segment where they weren't in the ring. They were just kind of simulcast backstage, and you could tell Tiffany went right back to her script, which I mentioned on Unplugged, which you can't do, especially if you're in the top spot on one of the two major shows. Yeah, you have to show some experience and be able to improv on the fly.
Yeah. Queen Nepo Baby. She called herself Queen Nepo Baby.
We had
here's Dante.
Two Nepo Baby drops in the show.
Yeah. Dante, I had to explain that 0-3 line to my wife, and my wife didn't care for it, nor the matching outfits. She thought they were a tag team. Exactly. Your wife is smarter than the people behind the scenes, Dante. It's 100% right. That's what you would think. Matching black lace? What are we doing here? Yeah.
Did Cena call Cody a Nepo baby as well? I think he did.
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so we will talk AEW in a minute. I see Noah's got some talk about AEW. We'll get to that here momentarily. I guess we can just real quick kind of run through what the WrestleMania card is now, because we had a change last night. Kevin Owens, unfortunately, it sounds like needs neck surgery, and he had to back out of his match with Randy Orton, unless this is storyline. This is so fresh. I don't have any reason to believe that it's storyline right now, but I did see that KO mentioned that the injury happened in a match in January. And I went back and looked at his match history on Cage Match, and he only had 2 matches in January. Wrestled Rey Mysterio on SmackDown and wrestled Jimmy Uso on SmackDown. So if you took those 2 matches, Jesse, and you had to make a guess, what would be your inclination as to where the injury may have occurred?
Sami Zayn, Elimination Chamber.
Oh, well, he said January though. He said the injury happened in January, and those are the only 2 people
At home. Did his teenage son beat him up?
I mean, maybe. I mean, my inclination would be probably the Jimmy match, but that's just me guessing. You'd have to go back and watch the matches and see if anything stuck out to you. I don't remember anything from those 2 matches that would make me think that he came out looking like he injured his neck, but super unfortunate. I don't know what they're going to do now.
I mean, with that kind of stuff, I mean, that's probably like wear and tear in the smallest thing could have just triggered the injury. It could have been just almost imperceptible.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, well, is this part of the story with Randy Orton? But then it doesn't make any sense with Orton RKOing Aldis. Like, why would, that it doesn't seem like that would fit very well within a story where KO's pretending to be injured. So that makes me think that they are going in a different direction and that Owens is really actually injured.
Yeah. And Noah's pointing out here in the chat, the spot with the ladder where Cody dropped him on the ladder, Saturday night's main event back in December. Certainly could have got the ball rolling on that. So, yeah, super unfortunate. Well, do you find a new opponent for Randy Orton, or you just keep him off the card?
Nah, you're gonna get Randy on the card.
Yeah.
How we feel, it wouldn't matter, but most of the WWE
I
universe,
could care less.
exactly. Most of the WWE universe wants to see him in some position, and I'm sure they'll shoehorn something. There's still some talent on SmackDown they can kind of cross over to.
I misspoke. The ladder match was the Rumble. You're right in the chat. My bad. They wrestled at Saturday night's main event, and then the ladder match. Yeah, that was February 1st at the ladder match. It could have
maybe Owens is just wrong. He's remembering, and Royal Rumble was always used to be in January. Maybe he's just connecting it that way.
That's fair. That could be the case too.
Yeah, I think both months it was February 1st Rumble, March 1st Elimination Chamber, so that would make sense.
Yeah. Randy versus Nick Aldis. Seen a couple people mention that in the chat.
It doesn't do anything for me. I'm not really a fan of either guy. To no one's surprise who listens to the show.
Ooh, good take by Jay Schmidt's in the chat there.
Oh, is Jay here now too? Let's see. Yeah. Jay says, if they pivot to Aldis Orton, can we just say that would be the most boring match of all time? Yeah, possibly. Possibly. It's been a while since Nick Aldis worked, so.
Yeah, his match with Cody at the original All In was fine, but it wasn't mind-blowing at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what we are looking at for the 2 nights of WrestleMania right now, Gunther and Jey Uso. It's looking like that's going to be on night 1. They had, they did the women's match on Monday night. It's still officially Io Sky against Bianca Belair. Rhea will get added to that. It'll be the triple threat. That's believed to be on night 2. Tiffany and Charlotte is supposed to be night 1 as of right now. New Day taking on the War Raiders for the tag team titles. Has not been officially announced, but on the way. Probably some kind of multi-team match for the SmackDown tag team titles. IC title, Breaker, Balor, Penta probably is going to be the match there. We got, I don't know what night that is. LA Knight taking on Jacob Fatu, according to what happened on SmackDown last night. I know there's some talk that Braun will get added to that match, though. And again, it would be another triple threat.
That's really underwhelming. I was hoping for something bigger for Jacob Fatu, but I guess LA Knight's really popular, just, not with me.
Yeah, Jacob's kind of fallen off in recent weeks, unfortunately. I guess his steam has kind of started to slow down. Part of it is just SmackDown is just not a very good show. It's just a 3-hour slog to get through every week. And yeah, he's just kind of been middle down in this U.S. title program. So, my pick would be he wins the U.S. title in that match at Mania. But yeah, I'm not super excited about that one. AJ Styles and Logan Paul is expected to be on night 2. Doesn't do much for me either. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Jade and Naomi, they made official. And then, of course, Cody Cena will be night 2. And night 1 will be the main event with the triple threat with Rollins and Punk and Reigns. So that is where WrestleMania 41 stands right now. That show, we will do at least I'll be on it, a Monday morning review for our night 2. In the past, what we've done is since they were doing the 2-night thing, is we'll do a Sunday morning show for night 1 and a Monday morning show for night 2. I did take off work Monday morning already, so I could do WrestleMania night 2. And I'll have to talk to you guys about scheduling, but we will do a rare Monday morning show after WrestleMania. I do know that.
Yep, I can make that. It would have to be mid to late morning. 2 things about WrestleMania real fast. It's triple threat heaven, number 1, which is just shoehorning people to get them a payday. And then I just completely lost my thought on the second one. I was going to just say, like, Jacob Fatu could elevate the United States title potentially if he's that good. Let's just see him do it. Let's just see him just start running people over and maybe make the U.S. title mean something a little bit. And then once he loses it, he gets elevated into the world title picture.
Yeah, Sami Zayn, no WrestleMania match right now. Last wrestled at Elimination Chamber. I mean, I guess if you could insert him into a match with Orton somehow to get him on the card, but no, nothing for Sammy right now, unfortunately. Has Jade got any better since the TBS reign?
N-O.
Nope. No, she has not.
Now
I
my
think
major
that is also you go ahead. Major point. I was going to say miscast in the heel babyface dynamic there, I think.
Nice job making your Royal Rumble winners main eventing WrestleMania mean something. Great work, WWE.
Yeah.
Neither of them are main eventing either night.
That too.
And you're getting bumped off the card by a triple threat that has no title significance.
Isn't it odd to have Jade as the face and Naomi as the heel? I think that's an odd way of doing it. I would have done the exact reverse to John's point. Has she gotten any better? Not really. I'd lean into that. I'd make her the heel. I feel like if you're limited in the ring, maybe, you can rely on tricks as a heel to come across better in your matches. And I just don't feel like people want to boo Naomi. That's just me, though.
From the few people that I know follow SmackDown and I trust, they actually have been pretty positive on Naomi's heel turn since her and Bianca broke up in the middle, I think about a month ago.
She was dressed like Owen Hart last night.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Jade in this. I think it would have been better to have Jade as the heel, personally. Naomi has always been so popular. She's done fine as far as trying to sell the heel turn. It feels awkward to me. That's all I'll say on that.
Especially when you paid all that money to make Jade a bona fide player in the WWE, and she's underwhelmed.
Yeah. Huffman says a miss on Bianca versus not doing Bianca versus Jade. I mean, if you were going to do the triple threat, which I'm not a fan of, we've talked about this on the pod before. They kind of muddied the waters, adding Io Sky, who we all really like, but they had a legit kind of dream match scenario with Bianca and Rhea Ripley. Now, since they're not doing that, if I would have known they were playing the triple threat, I would maybe rather have gone with Bianca and Jade too, just because they had the history to build to. And yeah.
And I would assume that is probably a long-term plan for them. And that's probably why, they want Jade to be the baby face against Naomi, is because Bianca will be the heel for that rivalry.
Yeah, most likely.
I got one last thing on SmackDown. Okay. Rey Fenix and Nathan Frazer with Phoenix's debut. Very fun match. Truly enjoyed that a lot. And people know Nathan Frazer from not only NXT, but he was Ben Carter in AEW for a hot cup of coffee and wrestled a couple of pretty good matches. They were hoping to sign him and didn't. So, but yeah, it was a great debut last night. Something, again, you would see on the other station and would be lauded. And I wanted to laud it here. So it was a great debut last night in ring for Rey Fenix.
Selling the mask before he was even on TV. I don't know the specifics of AEW's merchandising. It is wild. But yeah, I don't know if they had it in their contracts that they could only sell their masks, because I know Phoenix and Penta both sold their masks independently of AEW. They have a store in California. And there was even, because I bought it, a Halloween costume of Penta that you could buy that came with his mask that I got a few years ago. So I don't know, maybe they thought they could make more money doing it on their own. And so maybe it's not fair to criticize AEW on that. I don't know the specifics of it, but it is wild that AEW never sold their masks. That is such an easy moneymaker, but WWE sell them right away and they're flying off the shelves.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that they would have wanted to put that in their contract with AEW. Because, you'd think, get more merch out there, you'd make more money with whatever, percentage they would get off of that. But yeah, I mean, I see your point. That would be the only thing that would kind of make sense. But
I'm just looking for a reason, because it's so questionable. But also, does Pro Wrestling Tees even make masks? I don't know. Maybe they didn't. They would have had a contract out to another company, maybe. But
I mean, then freaking go through somebody else. Where were all the Sting masks and stuff? That's like a top 5 issue with AEW. We've all been to lots of AEW live shows, and their merch counter just fucking sucks.
Yeah,
it was just
not selling the Harley Quinn dolls too. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, if I hadn't owned the black Bruv t-shirt, I would have bought the green Bruv t-shirt. I was really impressed. That looks awesome, and it was there for sale. I already forgot. Oh, well, Ryan, you're one of 2 people in Iowa that owns a Penta mask. That would be George Kittle being the other one.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
I've seen him wear it before, so it's
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, that's WrestleMania right now. We had Ray Phoenix debut. Said he has been waiting his whole career to say he's in WWE. You got to say that. But yeah, he had a good debut. Chicago gave him a great reception. Referenced AEW again, saying he has had a lot of great moments in Chicago in the past. Of course, Justin, we were there for that cage match against the Bucks at All Out, which was tremendous back in
Yeah, that was
2021.
awesome.
So I mean, I hope they do something with him. I think Penta's debut was handled well, and they've continued to push him as a big part of their shows. I hope that both of these guys don't fall off, and vanish long term. But right now, I don't think they could have done it any better. And yeah, it was a great match. Good stuff for him. All right, let's flip it to AEW Dynasty coming at you tomorrow. This part of the pod obviously is not going to have much of a shelf life, but we'll preview Dynasty Sunday night. I will say, not as excited for this one as Revolution, which was just an unreal card.
Yeah,
3 potential match of the year contenders in a row on that show, but still, overall, top to bottom, pretty solid card. I thought Dynamite, the go home show this week, was really good. I mean, everybody talking about what they did with Hangman and Swerve. Justin, your thoughts on the ending to Dynamite and your anticipation of Dynasty?
Yeah, as a whole, I'm not as excited. Real quick, Tim, cool it in the chat, buddy. That's a bit much.
You made a TRN unplugged reference there, and no, I did not utter that remark.
Yeah, as a whole, this card is not doesn't feel as stacked or loaded as Revolution did, but just on the back of Swerve and Mox alone, my excitement and emotional investment is incredibly high, much higher than it was at Revolution, where I was just rooting for Edge, Copeland, not to win. And now this is how you want to be anticipating a match where you need to see that baby face overcome the heel and become champion, which, I don't even know if I'm ready to predict that happening. I feel like they could stretch this out to Double or Nothing to build to maybe a Texas death match between Mox and Swerve.
Yeah. Now that would be it. Would you make the drive to Texas for that one, Justin?
No.
I thought you said you'd consider, but yeah.
Not with the way the economy's going right now, buddy.
That's true. That is true. Jesse.
Glendale, Arizona. It is a lot cheaper than going to Las Vegas for Double or Nothing.
That's true.
So that part's good. Yeah, I said it was like 7.5 on a scale of 1 to 10 for me. And as mentioned in the chat, this is for the diehards. There have been some really good builds on Collision that are now coming to a head here on pay-per-view with Garcia and Cole in the rubber match, which I think is going to be a very good confrontation. We've seen, even with the real quick transition to Hurt Syndicate and Big Bill and Brian Keith, because Brian Cage was injured. That's another one. Megan Bain's emergence. So yeah, it's completely different. And it's something that you're throwing your second pay-per-view on in a little bit less than a month. So it's kind of hard to have a really good build. But you nailed it in the main event, which you haven't done since Wrestle Dream. And even probably go back further. You can maybe say All Out with Swerve and Hangman in the Lights Out match.
Yeah, no, Moxley's been doing his best work in quite some time in the build to this match. We referenced a couple of weeks ago, I think it was here on the show, that he had one of his best promos in years building up to this. So, ironically, we've been kind of dying for him to drop the title and now maybe have an argument for him to keep it a while longer. But that said, I mean, Justin, do you think that they're going to do the title change based on how Dynamite ended? With the beatdown on Swerve and with the tease that maybe Hangman could be on his side. Like, does Hangman, does he help fight off the Death Riders if they get involved in the main event? What do you think?
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm rooting for to happen. I think for your top 2 matches at All In to be Hangman Swerve and Omega Okada, that would be a pretty good way to at least make me consider going down to Texas.
What if
But
AEW comped us tickets? Would you drive to Dallas?
yes. The thing I'm having a hard time wrapping my head on, I think I talked about this before, is how underwhelming Double or Nothing's main event, Swerve's first big defense felt last year, after his title win at Dynasty. And I don't know where they go other than maybe a rematch between Swerve and Mox at Double or Nothing. But yeah, I would love to see the I guess not really long term, because it's just a few months away, is the end game should be Hangman Swerve at All In.
Mm-hmm.
Mox is a character that can afford a losing streak because he's been the ace. He's won a ton, and it takes a lot to, and it elevates the person who loses or who beats him, excuse me. So I actually kind of mapped out in my head right now. You could have Swerve defeat Moxley here, win the title. They're 1-1 in their series. You get the rematch of Double or Nothing because Mox got maybe screwed out of it. Swerve wins again. That's going to make him even stronger moving into All In. And then I think for give Ospreay something to do, have him wrestle Moxley at All In. Have him get the win there too.
Yeah.
Jay, that doesn't work because the wild card in the Owen is going to be on Dynasty.
Yeah. How about...
Now that is an all-time comment.
Also, Justin, Jay says, man up, risk the measles, risk poverty, go to Texas. Oh boy. Yeah.
We got 3 months. We can get thousands of patrons by then. We'll figure something out.
Well, to the point on the ticket prices, I actually think the get-in price for the show is going to be really low because you're going to be trying to get people in the building.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the ticket price will be that big of a concern financially. More be the travel and hotel and all of that. But I do have relatives that live in Dallas, in Arlington. Perhaps could have a place to stay, Justin. I'll just throw that out there.
Oh man, looking at the comments here, which you guys are on fire. We love it. John Hope, in my head, Ospreay has to win it All In, but he could win at Forbidden Door in London. I really like that. You're redoing Swerve winning at Dynasty, and then you have a rematch of last year's Forbidden Door with Swerve and Ospreay. The only thing I don't like there is you have another kind of short title run for Swerve, but also, I mean, he said he's solidified as a star, as we've already talked about, so that doesn't really matter too much, but I don't hate that at all.
Jesse, real quick before I forget, when you were laying out, the rematch of Double or Nothing, possibly with Mox and Swerve, I thought of something. What if they do that, and then at the end, someone returns Brian, and they set up Brian Mox for All In too?
Oh,
there we go.
I like that a lot.
You got to have Brian work on that show. I think he will. That's not any inside information. It's just a feeling. So
yeah, I think that's an excellent call.
If it's not him, you would think Mox and Darby would be the play.
Yeah,
that would be my other one.
Darby is set to get after the Everest in 10 days, I believe. Not going to be seeing him on Dynasty.
No, we will not. All right. Let's do our picks. So in the main event, I'll just whip around here. I'll take Swerve to win the title.
I'm going to do the same as a fanboy Mark. That's just what I want to see.
As I teased on Unplugged, it was either map it out where I'm going to see Mox versus Ospreay at All In for the title, or Swerve versus Hangman for the title at All In, and I'm going to stick with Swerve versus Hangman for the title at All In, so Swerve is going to win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
I was kind of leaning towards they might have Mox retain until Dynamite, and then the way that show ended with the beatdown, it made me think that Swerve's going to win. I mean, that's just how it used to always work on wrestling.
Yeah.
If you got beat down, you'd be winning the title. But it just kind of made me think that that's the direction they're going. Toni Storm and Megan Bayne, Justin.
I still think Toni. I think it'd be weird for her to have such a short reign here, and I'm not worried about Bayne, taking this loss. I think they can do it with maybe some shenanigans or like a roll up or, kind of a fluke win, and you can keep Bane looking strong. But, Toni Storm has been discussed here and on our Facebook group. I mean, she's kind of the best thing going in all of wrestling right now. So I wouldn't have her lose.
Plus, I mean, you keep the title on her to potentially do that match with Mercedes.
Yeah.
Coming out of the Owen, that's one of the biggest matches they can do in the women's division. So, yeah, I personally think she'll retain here for sure. Jesse?
Yeah, they've been planting a little bit of doubt in your mind just because Megan Bayne just came from kind of obscurity and she's just blowing past everything in her path. But she'll be fine with a loss. Not a problem at all. Toni Storm will definitely retain.
She got the win in that tag match a couple weeks ago. So,
Yep, she had the upper hand in the entire feud so far. So, yep, Toni will retain here.
Triple threat, AEW International title. This should be an awesome match. Omega, Ricochet, Speedball, Mike Bailey. Justin?
Boy, I think I'm off the Speedball train already. That promo with Omega was pretty cringe, and it wasn't because of Omega. That was the thing when Ospreay came in. Like, I knew I'd seen a ton of his in-ring work. My only concern was character and promo, and Ospreay's knocked that out of the park. And little worried about Speedball right now, but I think this is a good position to put him in, to put a big spotlight on him in a big match pay-per-view against one of the biggest stars in the world, Omega. Looking forward to this a lot. This is kind of the lock of the night, though. This is Omega.
Yeah.
Yep. Kenny's going to retain here. I have hope for Mike Bailey's character moving down the road, but it's going to take some time, and he's probably going to get overshadowed here in the coming months just with everything we've just talked about. So it's up to his volition to stand out, make a name for himself, and kind of resurrect that promo that you just talked about in my hometown of St. Paul.
If they want to immediately change my opinion on Speedball Mike Bailey, they will have him come out to outcast Speedballin', which is an absolute fucking humper of a song.
Yeah, it feels like he needs a pretty dramatic character shift to me to, make this work. He's an outstanding worker. I just feel like, and we expressed that concern when he debuted, that is his character really going to work? Is he going to stand out from the pack? So, yeah, I still have that concern too. But yeah, obviously Omega winning is a total lock here. But in ring, it should be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You sink or swim with your character work, as Ricochet found out, because he's had to do some change ups and he's done a tremendous job. So yeah, Speedball, go for it.
1000%. Trios, AEW World Trios titles, Death Riders defending against Rated FTR. We've talked in the past of where this is probably headed on the Rated FTR side. Justin, winner here?
I think this is definitely Death Riders. It feels like they're still gearing up. What is it? The Ops, absolute horrendous trio's name.
Horrible.
That feels like the long-term goal for the trios titles, and obviously the story here is the fracturing of Rated FTR.
Yeah.
Yep. The question is, who goes heel, FTR or Adam Copeland? And we're assuming to be Christian Cage. Yes, we definitely hope that it's Copeland and Christian Cage.
I think they're going to go FTR heel.
I agree.
But I probably agree with you guys. I'd rather see it the other way around, personally. But I feel like they want to give Christian and Edge, Copeland, Edge and Christian, that kind of like rah-rah farewell tour, legendary tag team kind of thing. Although who knows, the other company had the farewell tour and he's a heel, so you never know. But yeah, Death Riders retaining here. Now in the match of why the fuck is this on the card, Chris Jericho taking on Bandito, ROH world title. I don't know why they felt the need to add this to a extensive card. They could have saved this for ROH. Justin, your thoughts?
I actually don't hate it being on the card just because I love Bandito, and honestly, I'm not really hating what Jericho's doing right now. It's much better than what he was doing like a year ago. And I don't mind the spotlight on Bandito too here. As far as who's going to win, got to think Bandito.
Okay, Jesse?
When did they add that to the main card? Was that yesterday?
It was this week, yeah. Just happened.
It might have been
yesterday. Yeah, it might have been. It was yesterday or Thursday. It was kind of like they snuck it in. I think it was Thursday. I want to say, because I think
He
it
must
was
have
right
been.
before the media called it. Tony did.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, I
people were
thought it was.
joking about how like they didn't talk about it on Dynamite and they just kind of snuck in another Jericho pay-per-view match at the last second. Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea what Bandito looks like under that mask, but that mask is so unique and cool looking that I just can't see him losing it.
Yeah, we went over the card on Thursday night. It was right around 7:30, 8 o'clock Central, and it wasn't listed on Cage Match. So that's really odd. They must, like I said, just added it 24 hours ago. Huh.
Yeah, I can't remember when it was. I can try to find the tweet, but who do you got winning?
Rightfully so, though, because I think this warrants it. I will take Bandito here just because of the whole mask versus champion stipulation, and Jericho definitely has been much more entertaining over the last month.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Bandito wins. I don't know, man. It's a long card. It's going to be a late night for me. And I
We've
look at
got to
this
have some
card,
short matches.
and
Got to
it's
have some
like
short matches.
the ROH title could be on a big ROH show. I don't know, but yeah, I can't find when this match was added. There was an article yesterday morning talking about it. Yeah. I don't know, but very, very last minute. Yeah, that's our winner there. Daniel Garcia defending the TNT title against Adam Cole, Justin.
They need to mix up something with the TNT title here. Make it feel important again. As much as I'd rather see it on a bunch of other guys rather than Adam Cole, I think using him as a transition champion is not a bad idea to get it on someone like a Fletcher or somebody more on the rise, because Garcia's kind of floundered, unfortunately, as much as we like him here. But yeah, I'll go Adam Cole.
Yeah, I think this is pretty easy. Be nice. I think Adam Cole should be even rewarded for staying healthier longer than 3 or 4 months and actually getting into somewhat decent shape. You're seeing a little bit of muscle tone on the guy. Good for him. That must be what happens when you break up with somebody.
Yeah, to me, this is a no-brainer. I think you gotta go Adam Cole. Do something a little bit different with his title. He's been in the promotion for quite some time. He's missed a lot of time due to injury.
Mm-hmm.
He's back now. Give him a chance with this singles title. So yeah, I'll go with him. I did find the tweet. Tony Khan announced Jericho and Bandito for Dynasty Thursday night at 9:02 p.m. Central Time. So it was pretty late on Thursday night when they announced it. All right. Hurt Syndicate tag team titles defending against the Learning Tree. I mean,
We hurt people.
This is a no-brainer, right,
Yeah.
Justin?
Yeah, absolutely. This is probably even more of a lock than the triple threat.
Yeah.
In that woman's voice in the first 7 seconds of their song, they hurt people. Lashley and Benjamin, they are such a fun act right now. MVP, you are the man.
Yeah, awesome. And then we got the 4 Owen Hart Cup tournament matches. So on the men's side, it's Ospreay and Kevin Knight, and Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe. I think obviously Will Ospreay's going to win. I don't know if we really need to talk about it, but should be an awesome match.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ospreay.
Yeah, give Kevin Knight like 13, 14 minutes to just do his thing, and Will's going to do a really good job for him. So they just added Fletcher and Briscoe now too?
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord. I'm sorry, Ryan, that you're going to be up so late on BR on Sunday night.
Yeah, that one was added Thursday night, I believe, too. Late Thursday night. Yeah, it was. Tony was on a spree on Twitter because about 20 minutes after he announced the Bandito Jericho match, he announced Fletcher and Briscoe. Yeah, could be late. I'll be up very late on Sunday night, very, very late. But yeah, who do we got here then? Fletcher and Briscoe. Justin?
Fletcher.
I have to go Kyle Fletcher here too. It's kind of odd that they're reversing course of their Dynamite matches from 2 weeks ago with Fletcher and Briscoe, and then Takeshita and King, when it was the other way around with King Fletcher, which was great, and Takeshita Briscoe.
Yeah, I'll go Fletcher too. So we got Ospreay, we got Fletcher winning. I just lost my tab with the card. Hold on.
Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart.
Yes.
Obviously, Mercedes.
No brainer.
Yep, Mercedes is going to win that.
Yeah.
I think I texted you guys. I'm confounded by the women's bracket. I would think they would have tried to save Mercedes versus Athena for down the road, or I don't know. I guess maybe they could save it for Double or Nothing to do the semifinals there. Because that, to me, that's a match I'm really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be an all-in match. It's Athena's hometown.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
There was a report. There was a report that they were going to do it much earlier than people were expecting, because everyone's been thinking all in. I think it was Fightful. They had a report out that it's going to happen before people are expecting it to happen. But yeah, we'll see. All in makes the most sense. Absolutely. And then, any thoughts on who the wild card's going to be against Hangman Page?
I got nothing. I'm so bad at guessing these wild cards.
Same. I've heard nothing on this.
No, and I don't want it to be Josh Alexander. That's another person that's debuting. That's kind of who I don't want, but good luck. I really have no idea, and it won't be Uncle Jeff.
Yeah, because I mean, you think Hangman probably has to win the match, and so you don't really want to do Alexander here. Have his debut just to lose on pay-per-view.
Peter, I do think Jamie Hayter is winning the Owen.
Yeah, this chat is still popping, catching up here. Yeah, I think she has a great shot at it. We'll see, though. We shall see. Mercedes, too. Let's see. Unless Rated FTR wins the belts and they do the split later on. Yeah, it just kind of, I could see that with the trios. It depends how they want to do this split, if it's a slow burn or not. I mean, I wouldn't be that shocked if they won the trios titles. I lean more towards dissension in the match, though.
Completely agree. Yeah, that's going to be really fun. I said I just want to see who turns on who. And then with Christian getting involved, that'll just make for a fun tag team program, something we haven't had in a long time in AEW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, guys. I told you I had an 11 o'clock Central out, so I got to get running here. We got through everything. Good show. Active. A lot more people live here than we usually have on the Thursday night time slot, so we will continue on the weekends here moving forward, at least through WrestleMania season for sure. Appreciate everybody who tuned in live. As I said at the top, if you want that instant reaction to Dynasty on Sunday night, join the Patreon. I'll have TRN extra up, and then Jesse probably in the next 24 to 48 hours after that. We'll have an unplugged looking at Dynasty. We'll touch on it next weekend on the flagship, and then we will have in the middle of the week TRN Classics for patrons, WrestleMania 12. This is the best time to try out the Patreon page. 7-day free trial gives you full access for those 7 days. You'll get, if you sign up right now, you'll get all of those bonus shows this week for free. So check it out, patreon.com/Top Rope Nation, or just navigate to the link here in the broadcast description. Would love to have your support and to make Justin Joint work even harder when he launches his new podcast when we get to 50 patrons. Let's make it happen, you guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Spoiler alert, real fast, for those who were on the fence on joining for a 7-day free trial, this will probably be the drunkest I've been on a podcast coming up for WrestleMania 12, just because it's WrestleMania season, and it gives me an excuse to drink something I really haven't done in a long time.
Love it. There you go. Another incentive to sign up. You'll love to hear it. Thanks for joining us, Noah. Good to see you in the live chat here for the first time. So yeah, good time, guys. Hope you all enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Dynasty. We'll be talking to you all again real soon. Take care, everybody.